What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about ENA Ethena today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, okay? It is the 24th day of August, and here we are with about 23 hours, 11 minutes left in the day. It's a brand new day. It's the end of the week, right? On the weekly time frame, we only have one day left here. What a massively volatile week we've had, coming all the way down and all the way back up with a nice wick to the downside, closing this week green so far, up about 5%. Assuming, in the next 23 hours we don't drop 4.9%, which would be detrimental as hell if that happened, but hopefully not. What's nice about Ethena, and I want to talk about what's not nice about Ethena in a second, but I do think that it's going to continue to grow. I think anybody who's invested in this is going to make money, and it probably does outperform the average altcoin, but we're going to get into that in a second, okay? Or it might not even outperform the average altcoin. We'll get into that in a second, okay? But its whole entire life has been a giant W. So one thing's for certain, or maybe not for certain, but one thing is a safe bet at least, is that this thing is going to rip to the upside. Once you get above this little center point here, the nipple, you get above about $1.31, $1.35, you're going to explode to prices that are worth several dollars and beyond. Okay, absolutely. And that probably happens between now and the end of September, if not sometime in October. Looking at Ethena here, and this is what I want to talk about that's kind of limiting to Ethena, okay, is that first off, it's a very new crypto. It came out in April 2024. This is my third bull market, and I know that I'm jumping all over the place, but just hear me. It'll all tie together. This is my third bull market. Okay, I have some experience analyzing the markets, and I want to share a little bit of that experience with you right now. Okay, I have only seen two cryptos in their very first bull market, which this is in its first bull market right now. I've only seen two that have seen market caps that are worth over 100 billion, over 90 billion in their first cycle, and that was Ethereum and XRP. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Who am I to say? But I don't think Ethena is the next Ethereum or the next XRP. It's the next up and comer, is what it is. And I've seen plenty of up and comers each cycle, right? The odds of this seeing a market cap that's above $100 billion is very, very low, okay? The average expectation, the expectation for the average altcoin by the end of the cycle is something on the lines of like a 19 to a 23x, okay? From the current market cap valuation of $4.9 billion, the circulating supply is $6.6 billion. The max supply is more than double that. So I'm assuming there's going to be more dilution as the cycle progresses. The chances of you seeing a 20x from here are less than, I would say, like less than 1%, right? They're very, very low. They're very, very low. I don't care about the tech. I don't care about the fundamentals. I don't care about any of that stuff, right? I don't care about all the hype. We're talking about market cap valuation. And to get to levels of $100 billion or more, you need serious institutional backing. You need people with some serious funds backing you. And nobody in this institutional bull run that we're a part of right now, nobody's going to sink serious amounts of money into something that hasn't even stood the test of time. You hear large institutions, the people who are heads of these institutions, very successful investors, what they talk about in their years of experience, what they talk about the most is that the most important test is not from a fundamental standpoint, it's not from a price standpoint, it's from the test of time. Can you go through hardships and come back? Can you last? Are you just a thing that's here and there and then gone later? Serious money doesn't come in to new projects. They're not going to put money into this. They're going to put money into projects that are, and I'm not saying that this can't have serious money in it or that they can't dabble, but to get to $100 billion or more, to get a 20x or more, it's probably not going to happen this cycle. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen inevitably, but you got to weather the storm. You got to go through a little bit of trials and tribulations there in the bear market before we actually come to that valuation, okay? Are you going to stick around in the hard times, or are you just a here and there thing? Because $100 billion, how do we know the team's not going to cut and run? That's a lot of money. They don't have to work ever again. You know what I mean? And maybe they don't get that whole thing. Of course, if you sell everything, it's not going to be $100 billion, but it's a lot of cheddar, right? So that's a lot of money to just gamble on something that's brand new. I don't care about the fundamentals. So just putting that out there, while this is a solid project, and I think that the chart looks bullish as hell and we're going to grow a lot, I don't believe that this is a coin that will outperform the average altcoin. In fact, I'm in the camp of believing that Ethena, as well as Hyperliquid and SWI, because it's all their first cycles, all three of them are likely going to underperform the entire crypto markets going forward, right? You've got Hyperliquid SWI here. Yes, Ethena, their stable coin, blah, blah. They work around the Genius Act, whatever. Hyperliquid SWI, I don't care. Hyperliquid SWI and Ethena, it's their first cycle. And unless they're groundbreaking, like truly groundbreaking, and man, every cycle there's stuff that's truly groundbreaking, but unless it's groundbreaking like Ethereum and XRP, I don't see it having a chance. And the reason why XRP and Ethereum broke $100 billion in their first cycle wasn't necessarily because they were groundbreaking. It's because the markets were less saturated. Right now, there's so much saturation; it's harder to really attain that level. People get distracted, and then most importantly, of course, in this institutional environment, nobody's going to put money into something, at least serious money, that puts you up above $100 billion, let alone multiple hundreds of billions, into anything that's brand new. And this is brand new. Yes, it's been around since April 2024. That's brand new. Absolutely, it is. With that being said, let's get some price predictions out of the way. Okay, from a high to a low. I wanted to start off with that because it's not like I enjoy it, but I really do make it a point to point out coins that I hear having a lot of hype that I don't think have the potential to even keep up with the average pace of the average altcoin. I do that because every single cycle there are coins like this, and every single cycle there are people who are wanting more, who are expecting more, who hear these crazy price predictions. And the reality is, guys, you look at a coin like this where most of the circulating supply isn't out. The people who are going to benefit are not the investors. It's the people participating in the ecosystem and the team founders themselves. So I don't like coins like that. I like coins that benefit the investors the most because I'm an investor. I'm not a participator. I'm just an investor. I'm here for sniping the lows and hopefully sniping the highs as well. Now, if you wanted a 20x or more back in June would have been your chance because I do believe that we could see targets that are all the way up at $6 to $7, maybe even $10 by the end of the cycle. If we take the current price into consideration, it's very possible that we go all the way up to about $13 to $15, right? Let's get a little bit bullish now. You could see that valuation, but that's about the tip of the iceberg there, okay? I don't think, and maybe that's the base of the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg is about $4, right? If I'm using that expression right? Because the tip is like it doesn't show everything. I don't know if that makes sense, but $4 would be my minimum expectation by the end of the cycle. 14, let's say $15 would be my maximum expectation, but not even $15. Not even 15. Let's probably say like 14, yeah. 14 to 4. That's a big range. Let's stop in the middle there. A lot of cryptos have been showing significance at their 1886200 level, 646 to 792. I strongly believe that could be where you stop, and that's phenomenal. If we look at this here from an overall perspective of this being an Adam and Eve double bottom, because it really does look like an Adam and Eve double bottom. You look at this here, right? Adam, you've got the V, Eve, you've got the U, Adam and Eve double bottom. It's perfect. It literally is perfect. Look up Adam and Eve double bottom. It's literally this. It's perfect. If we take the measurement, it would be from a low to a high of the pattern. You put this right here on top of the nipple there, that midpoint, and then that's your measure move, and that takes you right in the range that we're talking about. So I'm very strongly in the belief that I have very strong conviction in the belief that we do see prices that are maybe around $10, just below, just above. I don't think that it stops here. I do think that Ethena will make money, but again, as I stated in the beginning of this video, I don't think this is going to be a breadwinner. I don't think this is going to be something that changes your life. With these kind of gains, you're better off investing in XRP because XRP will likely outperform this, and it has a way higher market cap. It is a safe bet, right? This is a safe bet too, I think. But again, I think it hasn't stood the test of time. XRP stood the test of time. It got sued by the SEC, lawsuit that lasted for years. It had defamation because it got delisted from Coinbase. Everybody said that it was going to go to zero. It went through two bull markets or I guess one bull market. It went through a bull market where it found new all-time highs, and the next bull market where it did not see new all-time highs, and that's normally like the death of cryptos if they don't see new all-time highs cycle after cycle, and it proved everybody wrong, right? This has not stood that test of time. And there's just a lot more. There's cryptos that are higher up on the chain, even by market cap valuation, that are safer investments that have double the potential that this thing has, genuinely. So while it is an interesting project, and I think it'll grow, and I think there's value to be had if you're participating with the ecosystem and stuff, from an investing standpoint, I am not interested in it. Don't talk to me. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I expect a lot of raving, scathing comments in the comments section because nobody likes whenever I talk bad about a coin, but I said the same stuff about Caspa. I said the same stuff about ICP. I'm saying the same things about Hyperliquid and Sweet. I've been proven right on 2 of those. I'll be proven right on another 2, and then this one's going to be the 5th one that I'll be proven right on. It's just inevitable because, again, the statistical probability that you get above $100 billion, that you see a 20x or more this cycle, that you even keep pace with the average crypto, it's very low. It's very, very low. There's only 2 that did it. Not even Bitcoin did that. Take care. Bye-bye.